Alex, it's a great pleasure to introduce you and welcome you this morning. Thank you very much for giving up your time today to talk to us about LinkedIn. I've known Alex, it was just sort of tail end of last year we
Correct.
were introduced.
We were. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think there was an instant, although there's some overlap in what we do, there was an instant connection there. Alex, lovely guy. He specializes in LinkedIn lead generation, but also helps with LinkedIn profile builds, content marketing, design, branding, and social selling. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, absolutely. Spot on.
Excellent. Alex, please.
You've done your research, eh?
Yes, absolutely. That's all sitting here in front of me.
Yeah, you got it in the. Hey, I've seen the other videos. You've got it in the CRM, right?
Alex, it's great to have you on board and welcome you here today. If you want to just tell us a little bit more about what you do, tell us about yourself, and your background. That would be great, and then we can crack on with a few questions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, yeah, absolute pleasure to be asked to be interviewed as an expert. It's actually my first interview as an expert, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate the opportunity and obviously to meet everybody. I've watched a few of the videos, as I say, so I kind of got a bit of background on a few of you guys and the kind of layout of what today is going to be. So yeah, as Martin said, I'm Alex Barron. I'm the founder of a company called Rainmaker SOS, which is a sales outsourcing solutions business, specifically utilizing the LinkedIn platform, particularly for lead generation and marketing. But I guess it would be good to kind of give some background on where I've come, because I'm actually quite a relatively new business, although my knowledge of LinkedIn spans back many, many years. So my background, quite similar to Martin, really, a lot within sort of training and development. I previously worked for a digital media company. I've been in that role for near on 13 years. And started out sort of lower level business development manager, done that for 6 years, then had the opportunity to become the training and development manager specifically for the UK. And this is really where the kind of LinkedIn sort of journey started, although I didn't think it was going to end up or didn't realize where it was going to end up and what I'm doing now. So in that role, I built what we call the LinkedIn for Dummies program. Little did I know there actually is a LinkedIn for Dummies book. You may have seen, LinkedIn or the Dummies series of books that you can get. But we built this LinkedIn for Dummies strategy, how-to guides and templates to utilize LinkedIn. So pretty much, all of the work that we got, the interviewees, the advertising revenue, all came from the LinkedIn platform. So I devised the plan, I rolled it out to the UK, went down very, very well. It gave me the opportunity to fly to 2 of our locations. We had 2 locations in the US, one in Boston, one in San Diego. And over a week's span, I flew to these 2 locations and rolled out the program. So again, went down a storm and I got myself a promotion to become the group training and development manager, which meant I was flying out to these locations for 3 weeks at a time, 5 times a year, which was obviously such a chore going to San Diego for a period of time for business.
You're not getting any sympathy here, sorry.
Yeah, so it's a good time in my life, of course, I had to train people on the business operations, but it was all based around this training program that I put together. So I've done that for many, many years. Fast forward to start of last year in January, I was approached by an old friend of mine who's got a company. It's a technology business in the super yacht industry. Super, super cool company. Super cool guy. He's worked for a lot of high profile people and has been stationed on some of the most beautiful yachts in the world. And he came to me because he needed some help with content marketing and lead generation and really utilizing the LinkedIn platform. So I started working with him for a short period of time in January, February time. And that's when I started thinking, maybe I can lift this business model and really put it into, a number of different businesses and actually, build it into a business for myself. Then the pandemic hit. So this is like around my birthday, March, March, about a year ago to now. So we were all furloughed, working from home, and obviously being in a training development capacity, and we weren't expanding the company anymore. I knew that, potentially my job could be at risk, and I was right. I was made redundant. So I was made redundant. That kind of sort of made me think, right, now is the time to go, head first into building a company. And I worked day and night. I had some exclusive clients, some referral sort of based clients. And I launched the business November last year, officially, to the outside world. So, most of my career has been around, as Martin said, based around content marketing, around social selling. I'm certified in a number of different LinkedIn courses, but I've always been connecting suppliers and buyers together, and that's really where that idea of Rainmaker SOS came from. So a LinkedIn lead generation and marketing business.
Excellent. That's a great backstory. I mean, I don't know how many of you here have got super yachts, but
I haven't got one, believe me. If I do, then you guys are all invited, right?
Brilliant. So, I mean, first of all, how many of you on here are actually using LinkedIn?
Cool.
I'll say show of hands, but with Steve, Mel, and Ella, if they want to just put in the chat using LinkedIn, that'd be good. So, I mean, obviously, we've talked about LinkedIn throughout the workshops and throughout the training as well. But Alex, please, if you could just explain more about exactly what LinkedIn is, because I know a lot of people they think it's a job platform, a careers platform, but obviously it's part of the social media field now as well. So if you could explain more, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it still does have that capacity. I think it originally was evolved to serve the recruitment market, and it is still used for that. But it's essentially a social media platform. It's similar to Facebook, but it's aimed towards professionals in particular. It was actually formed in 2003 by a guy called Reid Hoffman. He was originally part of what they called the PayPal Mafia. So it was former PayPal employees and founders that went on to do their own ventures. So a couple of the guys within that group were Elon Musk at Tesla and SpaceX, and Steve Shen from YouTube, and of course Reid Hoffman. I think there may have been 10 in total. But Reid Hoffman went on to build LinkedIn. He actually sold the platform in 2016 for a staggering 26 billion. And I remember it very, very well because when he sold it to Microsoft, they changed the whole user experience and the subscription levels that you can have on there, which caused quite a lot of disruption in my previous role, because the way that we utilized the platform, there was obviously a certain format or protocol that we used, and some of that had to be changed. But LinkedIn allows members to create a profile, and then you can connect to each other. You can track people's posts, their activity, their company news, or available jobs. So you can basically connect with anyone on there. They then become a connection, and then you can then create a network of people that you can speak to and potentially turn into clients later down the line.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. Sorry, I was just sidetracked. I was just reading the chat.
No worries.
Basically, I just put in there where the people are using using LinkedIn, personal or company. Eleanor, yes. Andrea using Booth. Glenn, personal. Jamie, Booth. Kevin, personally, I use it a lot. Business-wise, not so much. Okay, so we'll come on to that in a minute about the using the personal profile and company profile as well, or
for sure.
one preferred option to the other. So basically the benefits of LinkedIn, how is it going to help our businesses?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, it's more and more people are getting on the bandwagon, and I think they're slightly late to the party. I've been working, with LinkedIn for near on 13 years, but I think it's only really now that people are now understanding the power of the platform. It's growing rapidly at the moment. So the most recent statistics that I could find was that the users, or the level of users on the platform, are now sitting at 706 million. This year, the sign-up rate is 3 sign-ups per second, which is nuts.
Wow. Yeah.
There's 61 million LinkedIn users that are in a senior level position. 40 million of those are in decision-making positions. There's actually 30 million companies on LinkedIn, which is growing quite quick now, because a lot of people haven't got a business page, which is, you know, clear to see from some of the guys in the room now. And the users are across, you know, 200 countries. So, you know, it's massive, massive potential. Some of the benefits of using LinkedIn and how it can help you guys in your business. Well, your target audience is there. It's one of the kind of main benefits that LinkedIn has to offer is that, and probably trumps a lot of social media platforms, is that the target audience is all in one place. So last night I had a look. I'm guessing everyone is, are you all local then? Are you in Norfolk and Suffolk, pretty much everyone here, or are we across the UK?
Glenn, I think is, you know, Glenn, Glenn and Steve, actually. Glenn, you're in Skeg Vegas, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, are you? Right, okay.
Yeah. Eleanor, Norwich. Steve, you're in London?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Kevin,
So, well,
we don't know where Kevin is.
Okay, well, looking at some of the local statistics then, in Norwich, there's 75,000 users. Across Norfolk and Suffolk, there's 390,000 users. And across Norfolk and Suffolk that are within sort of a high level senior role. So we're looking at like C-suite executives, like CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, CFOs, etc., or directors, owners, and partners. There's 56,000 users. So obviously these may not be, you know, everybody's target audience, but again, I think that just shows the magnitude of people that are out there that you can potentially, you know, reach out to. From a B2B sort of standpoint, or certainly from my standpoint, I need to be in touch with, you know, business owners or senior figures, key decision makers, and you can use like a number of different filters on the platform to really drill down on your ideal sort of client profile. Things like location, so you can look at sort of country, you can look at region, you can look at certain amount of miles from your postcode. You can filter by company, so if you're looking for a particular person in a particular role within a particular company, you can drill down on that. You can look at service categories, so you might want to look at, you know, for me, maybe referral partners, which is a great example of me and Martin, even though we're very closely associated, and some may say, you know, we're kind of competitors. You know, we can be referral partners very, very well. So I think that's a good point, really, that you should never look at anyone as a competitor and always look at people as maybe partners, right? Because if I had have seen Martin in that capacity, then, you know, I wouldn't be on the call today. So you can look at service categories. I might want to look at people that are offering marketing services to partner with them. You can look at the title or the position of a person, and you can use keywords. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Sales Navigator at all. No? So Sales Navigator is an add-on tool. You have to pay for a subscription for Sales Navigator. I do personally use Sales Navigator, but it gives you a whole heap more filters that you can work with. So you can actually work with 20 filters in total. So that includes things like seniority level. You can look at the years of, or how many years somebody's been within a position. So if I'm looking at maybe startup companies, I can look at founders that have only been established maybe within a year. You can look at the years of experience that someone has, or the size of the business, you know, looking at like the head count. So yeah, look, bringing all of these people into that one place, and you can easily locate them and find the people that you really want to speak to. So that's one of the kind of key benefits.
Sorry, if I can just jump in there. That's the thing I absolutely love about LinkedIn as opposed to the other social media platforms, because you can actually search out your target audience, get past the barrier or the gatekeeper, if you like, get to the person that makes that decision.
100%.
That you can't do that on any other social media platform. So that's what I love about LinkedIn.
And that was the absolute game changer in the previous company that I was with. So, you know, I'm not a young buck. You know, I come from the days of cold calling and lead lists, and, you know, it's all about the numbers, you know, hammering through number after number after number. And then when LinkedIn came into play, it was exactly that, you know, cutting out the middleman, cutting out the gatekeeper, you know, skipping the PA and going straight to the source of the decision. And LinkedIn gives you that power, to go direct to the person that you want to be dealing with and speaking to. So for that reason, it's an absolute game changer.
Jamie's just added the question in there regarding like the search and the filters. He ideally needs company turnover, but this is not available on any filter. Is that available in Sales Navigator? Or Jamie, do you use Sales Navigator?
Company turnover, no. Okay. I'm pretty certain that it does. You can't get company turnover. You'd probably have to use some sort of company. You can find it online. I forget the name of the website we used to look at back in the day, but you can probably find the range of turnover a company is. So you can use it maybe as a directory off the back of another website that does give you the turnover. Because that's the difference. You can.
Yeah, you have to mix and match.
Yeah.
I did a Navigator course, and it didn't add the extra value for the amount you paid compared to the free one. So I went back to the free one.
Glenn was just waving at me there. Glenn, did you just want to jump in quickly?
No, just to reply for Jamie that and what Alex is saying, he absolutely kind of mix and match. But if you identify a company, then find them on Companies House will give you length of trading, turnover, and stuff like that. It's a bit of a, but it's because LinkedIn don't ask us to talk about stuff like that, do they?
Yeah. That's right. No, it was looking for something in all one in the same place. But
right.
Good to mix and match. Yeah.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Alex.
No, not at all. So some of the other areas that would be beneficial is that it's a place where you can build reputation, building your reputation through like content, articles, you know, like blogging facilities, which we'll touch upon later in the interview. You can add your achievements, you can have your recommendations on there. But you've probably heard of the term, you know, the social proof. Okay, being seen as that thought leader. It's a place where you can certainly get that and build that reputation online, you know.
Any other benefits?
Loads.
Brilliant.
I'll give you two more. So it's a place where you can keep your business relationships, and I think this is super important, especially in the times that we're in right now. You know, a lot of people are struggling to visit clients. You know, face-to-face meetings aren't happening anymore. So I think, you know, the reduction in that opportunity to meet your clients, you know, you need a way to be able to stay connected to people and to be able to engage with people. So LinkedIn works perfectly for that. You know, interacting with other professionals on a regular basis, you know, liking their posts and commenting on their posts and being able to direct message them. You can maintain them relationships and build on new relationships. So I think that's quite key with the times that we're in. And of course, using it for a lead generation tool, right? You know, that's what my business is built on. So the lead generation capabilities on the platform are immense. To be able to find, you know, your ideal client, you know, with a click of the button and to be able to interact with them and market to them and, you know, essentially sell to them. You know, the possibilities are really endless with LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. I mean, we touched on the advanced search where you can go and you can find those individual contacts.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, when you connect with them, the chances are they're going to look at your profile. So why is it so important to have a fully built and optimized profile?
Yeah, it's super important. Before you want to, before you do any reach outs, before you contact anyone, the first thing that you want to do is to build your profile and optimize it. So it's just the same as maybe like a shopkeeper who's selling his product in his shop. Your LinkedIn profile is your shop window. It's what people are going to see first when they click your name in the search bar, or if they see that you've posted on a comment. The first thing they're going to do is click on your page, and that can really be the deciding factor if someone wants to interact with you or indeed, accept your connection request. So you need to have the profile well presented. You want it to give the correct message, and you want to have it optimized for keyword search. So your profile comes up above maybe some of the competitors that you have on the platform. The first impression is super important. Another statistic for you, according to LinkedIn, 49% of buyers screen a sales rep on LinkedIn, and 50% avoid reps with incomplete profiles. So to do that, there are a number of areas or some basic kind of concepts around your LinkedIn profile. So I'll give you sort of 3 or 4 now, and you can kind of look at maybe your own LinkedIn profile and see maybe where you need to add or adapt what you've already got. So the first thing is a profile photo, right? It's the bit that everybody kind of hates the most. Your profile picture doesn't want to be, out with your friends or a beer in your hand or a glass of wine, right? It needs to be like a professional photograph. You don't have to have a professional photographer, although we've got one in the room, which is great. So you can go beg your pardon, it's Steve, right? Steve's the photographer. No, Eleanor, yeah. So look, if you've got a professional photo, then that's great, but you want to be perceived as, or you'd want to look how you would look if you went to a meeting. It does seem to be quite a small thing, but this is really what the people are seeing first. And if they see that your picture is professional and that you look presentable, this will automatically give you give them a good opinion on yourself. LinkedIn profiles without a profile picture are 14%, LinkedIn profiles with a picture are 14% more likely to be viewed. And for me personally, I don't add anyone that doesn't have a photograph on their profile. So I hope you all have your beautiful faces on your LinkedIn profile, right?
Do we all have a profile picture? Raymond, thumbs up. Andrea, yes. Kevin, yes. Glenn, Jamie, Mel's not Mel. You're nodding your head.
Hey, Star.
Steve and Eleanor. I know Eleanor has. I'm sure Steve has. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
So
some of the other areas that you're also going to want to look at is the branding of your page. So alongside your picture, you also have the chance to show a banner at the top of the profile. Your banner is great for branding, and you can have your logo on there. You can have your business name. You may even want to have your website contact details on the banner. This sits at the very top of the page. You might want to replicate the branding from your website as well. So you've got that kind of common theme going from your website all the way through, your business pages and your personal pages. Same with your Facebook. You really want your branding throughout, so you're easily recognized on every social media channel. A big one is the tagline, guys. When you first join LinkedIn, it automatically populates the tagline as, like, if it was me, it'd be like founder at Rainmaker SOS. And that really doesn't tell anybody what I do or really what Rainmaker SOS is. So you want to look at that tagline or where your position is as a free kind of advertising opportunity. You probably want the format of something like I help XXX with XXX by doing XXX. It also, if anyone's on LinkedIn right now or looking at their LinkedIn profile, if you type somebody's name in the toolbar at the top, when it drops down, it actually shows that tagline there. So for me, if it dropped down and someone was looking at me and it said, you know, founder at Rainmaker SOS, it's not really telling them what I do. I think mine says helping businesses raise brand awareness and raise revenue streams via LinkedIn. And you can actually see that when it drops down.
So basically, tagline, offering a solution to people's problems.
Yeah. What do you offer, and how do you help with that? You know, it's a free piece of promotion for you. It's also a place when people connect with you, they'll see that as well. So, you know, rather than having to click into your profile and see what you do, they can see it from that first image of yourself, whether you're connecting or whether they can see you on a post. So definitely sort your tagline if you've not got it in that fashion. Your summary is a key part of the profile. And as you said, Martin, at the start, you know, it's not a CV. Of course, if you're looking for a job, then yeah, you know, make the profile like a CV or a resume. But you want to look at your LinkedIn profile like a landing page. So you want to talk about how you solve your clients' problems. You know, no one really cares about, you know, how many awards that you've won or how good of a salesman you are. You know, people are selfish, right? They want to know how you can help them. You know, it's all about me. So you want to write your summary with that in mind. How you can help the client, how you can, what are their pain points, and how your product or your service can help with that. And you get 2,600 characters there, by the way, you know, so, you know, utilize those. And my final tip on LinkedIn profiles is the featured board. I don't see enough people really using the feature board, which is a place at the top of your profile or reasonably high up on your profile. And it's a place where you can pin like links to your website or links to brochures, PDFs, maybe some of the trending posts that you've done. You can pin those to the top of the profile, and articles as well. So it's like a blogging facility on the platform, which is a long form post. So you can post more long form content, and you can pin that to the top of your profile to showcase the work that you've done. I just don't see enough people using that. It's a reasonably new feature, but you know, definitely been a feature for well over 6 months, and I just don't see people really using it too heavily. So the featured board is also a key area that you should look into.
So that's some great tips for our personal profile. So why do we need to bother with a company page?
Yeah, so the business pages are pretty underused. There's been a lot more emphasis on business pages in recent months by LinkedIn. So I think there's going to be, or you're going to see a lot more functions that help us grow the business page. But I guess you need to know what a business page is. And I know it sounds pretty crazy, but I have had people ask me or get confused about what the business page is and how that differs from the personal page. A LinkedIn business page is an alternative option that's dedicated specifically to the business. So you can choose your branding, you can put your logo on there, you can have an introduction to give, you know, a clearer idea of what your business does and how you do it. And a business page is also a useful link to your personal page, because another area on a personal page that people miss is that they don't attach themselves to the company page that they're part of.
Within their profile, you mean?
Within their profile, yeah. So if you scroll down on somebody's profile, you can see where they work. If that company page is an active business, if the company page is active on LinkedIn, you can attach yourself to that business page. So if anyone looks at the business page and they look at the employees of the business, then you'll show up within there. So it's a link between you and the business page. So it's another way of increasing traffic back to your personal page. So a LinkedIn business page is great for those who want to maybe show company updates, maybe news, expansion plans or developments that might be happening within the company. And it's a way that they can market their products, away from the personal profile. So yeah, they're becoming a lot more popular, and LinkedIn have now upped the limit of how many, the limit of how many people you can invite to follow your page on a monthly basis.
Brilliant.
And you can grow it a lot quicker now.
Got a couple of questions, Andrew and Jamie, but if that's okay with Andrew and Jamie, we'll just leave them towards the end, and hopefully we can rattle through them at the end. So you mentioned like posting updates, and you mentioned articles as well that you can put in your featured media. Your featured media and your profile. So basically, articles, you class it as long form content. Would you use one over the other, or would you use both?
No, I would use both. I do use both. Yeah. So the difference between like a status update versus a long form piece of content, or it's classed as an article post on LinkedIn. A status update is very similar to pretty much like a Facebook update. You can tell people what you're doing, the thought of the day, if you like. You can share something maybe written by somebody else, maybe an influencer that you're following, or content from blogs or newsletters that you found. You can share that, and you can post that within the time feed. You can attach things like photos, videos, and again, you can post documents within the time feed. But a long form post or an article post is different. So if you've got something that's longer, a longer form piece of content, you should be using the article facility. So it's similar to like a blogging facility. So these kind of posts have become a lot more popular. I use them for my blogs. I do 3 blogs a week, and I use the long form publishing tool on LinkedIn pretty heavily for that, and I pin that to the top of the profile. So it's easily shareable as well. It's written specifically on LinkedIn. Another little tip for you guys is that LinkedIn prefers you to be sharing content that is on the LinkedIn platform. So you'll probably find that your content will rank a lot better if you're directing people back to LinkedIn. See, like I've got 6,000 connections, but if I do a post, it doesn't show 6,000 connections straight off the bat, my post. It only actually shows a small portion, 10%. And all depending what the reaction is on that piece of content, it then releases it out to 20, 30, 40%. So if it's directing back to LinkedIn, you're going to get more traffic. It favors the content if you're pointing them back to LinkedIn rather than directing them straight off. If you are going to share something that is away from LinkedIn, you may have seen people on their posts saying, click the link in the first comment below. Has anyone seen that sort of thing on LinkedIn before? Yeah. So that's a way of tricking LinkedIn when you're directing people away from it, away from the platform, by putting it in the comment underneath. So another couple of little tips for you there if you are going to post on the platform.
And obviously engagement is key. So how do we boost the engagement?
Well, being active on the platform is one. Some of the things that I've already mentioned, increasing the engagement is to have a decent profile picture. That's a real key factor on the profile builds, as I say. Being regular, the regular posting, I think, is key to the engagement. If you're inconsistent with that, it's a major downfall. I'm sure, Martin, you explain, and probably your business is built on people that just aren't consistent on social media posting because they don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
So if you're posting, on a regular basis, you're gonna increase your engagement, and add value, guys. It's not about so much selling. I never sell. To be honest, I think that's old. And I know Andrew will know this all too well, right? The message is not a selling pitch for me, it's adding value. So I give a lot of content away, how-to guides, ebooks, the blogs. You know, these are all great ways of adding value to your brand, and ways of getting engagement on your posts. Yeah, adding value is a key factor in that as well.
And that's obviously part of boosting your brand on LinkedIn as well, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you demonstrate the value, as with all social media. Adding in and demonstrating value is how you engage your readers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, social media in general, we use it as a lead generation tool. So what are the main benefits of using LinkedIn as a lead generation tool?
Yeah, well, as we said earlier, you cut out the middleman. You know, one of the biggest challenges that businesses face is finding out who the key decision makers are within their industry. So because you've got that filter process, you can really drill down on the people that you want to be talking to, so you're not wasting your time talking to people that may not be relevant, or getting stopped at the gate with maybe a PA or a receptionist. The members are super active on the platform. Over 60% of them are posting on a daily basis. And as I said, there's over, nearly 750 million, 750 million. And 60% of them are posting on a daily basis. So this makes the platform one of the most active platforms for members.
And of course, all those figures are great, but they're not all going to be ideal customers, are they?
Of course, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Andrea, you'll love this, but how do we understand basically our ideal customer profile?
Well, that's key, right? Because as I said, I watched the other videos, and you guys were discussing the fact you really need to know who your ideal client is. Where are they based? What is the position of the person? Your ideal client profile. You must know the personas and the ICP is the ideal client profile, and then the personas that go alongside that, which is everything that you collate in the CRM, right, Jamie? When you were speaking the other day, understanding why your customer why your customer buys, and who that exact person is. So providing you know who that ideal customer is, you can then drill down on the filters. So at least you've got a lot smaller net, but much more of a laser focused net of people that you meet, the ideal client that you want.
Brilliant. I mean, you're giving us some great tips there, Alex, but I'm really going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah, go on.
What would you say are the 5 key steps to lead generation on LinkedIn?
Finding the potential clients is the first one. So the first step would be, finding the clients. Because you've got the advanced filters, you can obviously narrow down on that to find your ideal clients and the key figures that you're trying to go after. So I would find the potential clients. You want to make contact with them. Obviously, before any of this, you want to make sure that your profile is fully built and optimized.
Yep.
You want to make contact with them. You want to make sure that you're certainly not selling in the invite message. Really, I wouldn't even mention why you're kind of contacting in the invite message. You want to try and find common ground as quick as possible. Okay, so always look through somebody's LinkedIn profile first, do your research on the person and try and find some common ground. Even track the lead before you even connect to them, like their statuses, read the content that they're writing prior to even making contact with them, and then engage in the conversation, build the relationship. And you want to work them towards some sort of call to action. So for me, it would be booking in a call, but it might be to sign them up to a newsletter, or to have them become a member you know, whatever your desired call to action is, you're going to try and draw them down into that as the fifth step.
I lost count. Was that 5 or was that more?
I probably added a few more in there, yeah.
Anyone keeping count? That's brilliant. They added some real value there. I've got a few questions. Let me just scroll back. I think Andrea was the first one. Andrea said, I get a lot of connection requests, some very obviously wanting to sell me stuff, which I ignore. How can I use LinkedIn to make real connections with business owners who may need my marketing services and not appear salesy?
By giving the value. So first of all, don't ever accept a request or send out a request to anyone that you don't believe gives you some sort of value or is not your ideal client. The first mistake people make is that they get on the platform and the vanity metric of having this 500 plus on your profile. So you go through and you just start connecting with all and sundry. Now, the problem with that, and I've had clients say, oh, you know, LinkedIn annoys me because I get so much rubbish in my time feed. Well, unfortunately, that's your own doing. You know, it's a true reflection of the people that you've allowed into your network. So if you are getting requests, which you are, and you can see that they have nothing to do with what you do, and you're under the impression that you're probably going to have a sales pitch hit you, then definitely ignore those requests. You're on the right path there. To make meaningful requests, I would be the instigator. I would go out and look and hunt for the ideal client that is for you by using the filters. And to build the relationships, I would give away as much content like ebooks, how-to guides, educate. You know, for me, I educate my network. I talk about the services that I provide. You know, I mix it up on a weekly basis. I think this week my posts are all based around the services that I provide. But if you look back at my posts, I've not really pitched about my products for the whole time that I've been open. It's all been about educating and giving content and value, which then shows me as a thought leader within this field. And really the clients are coming to me without me really pressing too much of the flesh. So I would say give as much value as possible, and you want to be the instigator to find the ideal clients. And if you'll attract the right people if your profile has been optimized correctly as well. So probably take a look at how your profile how your profile emulates you and your brand. And I think you maybe get a better reactions and maybe even people coming and approaching you from that as well.
Andrea,
I wanted to follow up on that. Yes. So what I'm working on at the minute is I get LinkedIn messages popping into my inbox saying who's recruiting at the minute. And they are recruiting for marketing. So there was a particular company that took my eye yesterday. So what I'm thinking of doing is following the company on LinkedIn and trying to find out who the key decision maker is, or the MD, connecting. And what I thought my tack would be is sending them a message with a connection request, going something like this. Hi, I wanted to connect. I see you're a Norfolk, Suffolk, whatever, local business. I love your post on XYZ. And then I give my view. I think it's all about ABC. Where possible, then say, here's a link to my blog, or did you see my post on ABC? Hope we can connect soon. Thanks, Andrea. And that's what I was thinking. And that's one of my tacks at the minute, because obviously this company is looking for a marketing person. They're looking for a full-time marketing person. I'm not saying they could have me, but I'm just saying that actually perhaps in the short term I could help them with some consultancy or something. So that's one of the tacks I'm looking at the minute, and I wondered what your views were on that.
Completely agree with the tactic. Bear in mind that the invite message, you only get a small amount of characters in there. What you've just said to me probably needs to be split into two. definitely want to mention, anything, at least, okay, number one, for anyone that's inviting someone to connect, always put a message in there. All right.
Always do.
Yeah, but so many people don't, or they'll just use, when you press connect, LinkedIn automatically populates, I'd love to have you part of my network. That's lazy. If you really want this person to be part of your network, well, why? Look at their profile. Where are they based? I can see that you're based in the local area. I'd love to be connected with, leaders within the local area of Norwich. You're trying to find a common ground straight off the bat. Now, with your case, you've gone a step further and you've really looked into the person. You've read some content, you've read an article, and you're highlighting that fact. So look, if someone messaged me and said, look, I've just read your blog on, why is LinkedIn important? I thought it was great. I got a lot of value from it. I'd love to connect so I can stay up to date with your blogs. I'll click connect every single time. Of course I will, because I know it's not an automated response or an automated reach out, and the person is genuinely interested in me as a person. So I will put a wager on it that person will connect back if you write what you've just told me. But I'd follow up with another message once they've connected. And within that, that's when I would send your link and the additional information. So 100%, that's a great strategy and one that everybody should adopt when connecting.
Do you think it would be too pushy to, in say the second message, to say, I'd love to chat further, here's my Calendly link, would you like to book a 30-minute chat?
I think in the fashion that you've took it, I think asking for a call would be cool pretty quickly. Calendly links, I don't know, I'm on the fence with it. Like it's easy. For easeability, it's great. I personally don't use them when people send me them though. I don't really like the links.
Can I just jump in there, Alex? Because me personally, I don't like them.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel that way. Yeah. It's personal preference, I guess. But that's not really the question you're asking, right? Whether you should use a Calendly link. It's more, is it too pushy to ask for a call, quite quickly after the introduction? And I think in the approach that you've done, I don't think that's an issue. If you're kind of stabbing in the dark and you're kind of faking it till you make it because they're in Norwich and you're just going to do 20 reach outs and not pinpoint each one of them.
No, I'm not that type of girl.
No. So if you were doing that, then I would probably mark it a little bit more before asking for the call. But in the approach that you're doing, 100%. As I say, if you'd done that approach to me, you said you read the marketing blog, and then you followed up and said, look, I'm a marketing expert. I'd love to have a chat. Maybe we could, refer business to each other or talk about how we could complement each other. Here's a bit about me. Here's my blog. And then I received a message from you saying, let's jump on a call. I'd be happy to jump on the call. So I think you'll get a good success rate in that strategy for sure.
Lovely. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks. I'm just conscious of the time because I've got another sort of 3 or 4 questions. Just on my profile picture, Glenn said he's got to change his because he's got a glass of wine in his hand. Jamie said, is there a minimum number of profile views that you would expect per week?
Oh,
that's a good question. Very good question.
I think tracking metrics is a great thing on all fronts, of course. Personally, I don't track how many views that I'm really getting. I think you need to be careful with how much work you're doing on LinkedIn as well. Not many people know, but there are limitations to LinkedIn as well. You really only want to be you personally viewing someone's profiles 100 a day is really the maximum. If you start pushing it further than that, then you can have limitations put on you. But I don't know. It's a really good question, actually. And maybe it is something I should track on a monthly basis because, my content that I'm pushing is drawing people back to my profile. So I guess then I could maybe look at a weekly or a monthly snapshot of how many people are viewing and then look at the content that I posted over that course of the month. And if I see a spike, then I would know that that's the sort of content. So great question, really. I think it's something you should track, but it's not something that I have tracked. So really good question. Really good question.
Another one from Andrea just sounded like, can you use hashtags in the about copy? Do they work?
In the about us, in the summary?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I use hashtags at the very, very bottom. You can use it in the keyword summary. Something I didn't touch upon, guys, as well, is your LinkedIn profile ranks really, really well on Google. So if you all want to do a real quick check and type your name into Google, I know that'll come up as a magician, right, Martin? Is it Jamie? You're a magician? Yeah. I'm a NASCAR driver and I'm a juggler. And what are you, Martin?
Olympic athlete.
Olympic athlete. That's the one. How could I forget?
So Kevin just said the light bulb moment for him today was linking his personal to his business page, which is great. Couple of questions from Eleanor, if we can just quickly go through them. Eleanor's been told in the past business pages are not worth bothering with and that I should concentrate on my personal page. What's your thought on posting the same content to both personal and business pages?
I've heard that, I don't bother with the business page. I don't agree with that. I use the business page. And as I said, I think there's going to be a lot more added additions by LinkedIn to the business page. So I would get on it early. I think you must have a business page. Why not? Why wouldn't you have a business page? You want to be found on every single platform, whether it's your bread and butter. I would be on every platform. Facebook isn't so hot for me, but I'm on there. So I think you want to be found in every avenue, and having your business page on LinkedIn is a must. Posting content on the business page, there's two ways of going about it. I personally post the same content on both, but you may want to, I would post both on your personal and your business page, but I would get your other employees to make sure they share the content from the business page. If you had a number of employees under the company, then they can all share that same content that directs back to the business page, which then means if everyone's got 1,000 connections and there's 5 of you, then it's going to increase the reach. So definitely have a business page, and definitely post content on both. Is my view.
Thanks, Alex. Another couple of questions from Eleanor. She's getting direct newsletter type messages from people. What is that feature called and where can it be found?
What is it that they're getting?
Direct newsletter type messages from people.
So, it's almost like somebody's sending a newsletter out, directly to me, almost like a monthly thing. I'll get a direct message, but
I think it's probably a link to an article. So what they've probably done is they've created a long form post. It's got an image at the top. You've got a title and then the body of the message. So that's a long form post that you can pin to the top of your profile. But you can also take the link of that, the URL, and you can send it in a direct message. So I guess what they're probably doing to you is sending you a message saying, hey, I thought you might want to, you might be interested in our recent newsletter talking about A, B, and C. Please click the link below, and that'll direct you back to their page where the long form post is. I guess that's probably what they're doing.
By the sound of it, I think.
If you've got because obviously you wouldn't want to send it to everybody, especially where I've lived in Portugal for many years. So the content that I would want to send out wouldn't be relevant for those people. So can you create a list of people that are specific for a certain topic and then just send articles that would be interested to those people? Or do you have to manually go through and each time say, I want these people to receive this message?
Yeah, see, that's one of the powers of Sales Navigator, because you can say very specific lists and categories of people. I think if you were only wanting to send a piece of content to a specific clientele, you can use the filters. You can filter by your first degree connections. You could say first degree connections that are in Portugal, because you've written this piece of content in Portuguese, say. Then you could filter all of your Portuguese contacts and then press message send, message send, message send. But there's no way of saving that search. You'd have to go back to that search and do the same protocol again.
But in Sales Navigator, you can create lists and do that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can create the lists and save them in one place, but again, you'd still have to manually message through unless you were using some sort of automation, which is against LinkedIn's rules. But there are automation tools that can send messages in a lot larger bulk than one at a time. But yeah, Sales Navigator gives you the option to then save pools of leads. So you might have 5,000 leads, but you can segment them into different categories of client or position or country, location area and things like that. So you can segment the data a lot easier with Sales Navigator, but that does come at a cost.
Great, thanks, Alex. I'm just conscious of the time. Everyone okay? We'll just carry on for another 5 minutes. Ellen also asked, what are your thoughts on LinkedIn booster groups?
Like an engagement pod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with it. I'm down with it. I think you can trick the algorithm on LinkedIn. I think they're more on top of this now, so it might not be as good as what it used to be. But if you've got a pod of people, you can make like a WhatsApp group, add your contacts to it, and then you can put the links within that group, so you can boost your posts. The reason people do that is what I said earlier about LinkedIn only shows a small amount of content. A small amount of your network, a piece of content, 10%, right? And I think, or I know, it's the more engagement you can get on a post, and the quicker you can get that, the quicker it will then release it to more and more of your network. It's a bit cheeky, really, right? You know, you've got X amount of connections and you put a post out and not all of them are seeing the post, but it's a way of them seeing if your post is, you know, the traction that you get on them early stages will then release it to more and more people. So the engagement pod is a good way of kind of tricking the algorithm, because I can put it in there, say, and get, you know, X amount of likes and comments. So LinkedIn thinks that post is hot right now. So then it releases it to more people and more people and more people. So yeah, look, I'm down with the engagement pod. You might want to have an engagement pod that is kind of tailored to maybe your industry, because you might just get like lots of random people. It might not be so relevant to maybe all of the people that you've got in the pod. But yeah,
I think a few of us on here are using engagement pods on LinkedIn and social media in general. And for those of you who don't know what an engagement pod is, it's basically, like Alex said, a group of people that you agree to share and comment and like on each other's posts, so it get that initial burst of engagement. So it's certainly worth something to consider. Kevin,
if anyone has got that I could be invited to, I would love to be part of one, because the ones I'm in have either died a death or I don't like them.
Yeah, same.
Right.
I'd you know, happily look. Well, I guess you're going to wrap up, Martin. But if everybody here would like to add me as a friend on LinkedIn, you don't need to put a specialized invite message on that one. But please do add me. And any advice or tips, and you know, please follow my posts, and I'll do the same with you guys. So definitely add me on the platform, and yeah, add me to your engagement pods. That'd be great.
Brilliant, thank you. Kevin just asked, how do you link the two pages together? So basically, you're talking about your personal profile to your business page, Kevin. That's something I can show you. I can help you with that if you like. It's just linking in your profile to your business page. Raymond, to maximize a post on LinkedIn, would you want it commented on and liked or shared, or both?
All. I think we may have had this conversation on social media, Martin, but you know, a like is nice, but a comment and a share outweigh a like. But yeah, if you can get all three, you know, then by all means. I like to see a comment. You know, it's easy just to like a post.
Yeah.
But to actually comment on a post, or if you're commenting on somebody's post, that's a great way of the initial stages of building a relationship with someone that you want to kind of pursue. So I think if you can comment and give some insight into what you've read, that's a great way of building.
I liken that to, like, if you've done personal networking, or if somebody you were talking to and you just pat them on the shoulder and said, yeah, I like that, and walked off, great. If you commented on it, it continues that engagement. And sharing is like saying, yes, I like that, but I'm not going to tell someone else about it. So commenting is great. Glenn's saying he's just got a shoot at 11:10. So great to have you on board, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
He said excellent session as well, and he loved the relationships, not sales approach as well. So he said, thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much, Alex. I will be in touch very soon. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Glenn. Take care. Thank you.
Glenn.
Kevin, thanks, Glenn. Catch you later. Kevin's waving at me. You got a quick question there, Kevin?
Yeah, just a quick one, really. I guess in my life that I'm in now with the construction industry, there's a lot of people on LinkedIn that seem to treat it like Facebook. And there's also a lot of people that think it shouldn't be like Facebook and it should be more professional. Mm-hmm. So what's your opinion, Alex?
I have seen more of an upturn in people making it a little bit more like a Facebook sort of vibe. And for me, it is a professional platform. You won't see me, well, even on Facebook, you won't see me posting about what I had to eat last night. Don't get me wrong. But no, it's a professional platform. I think, yeah, you don't need to be stiff. You know, you don't need to be really, you know, if that's the right word, you know, you don't need to be, still show your personality and be you and be jovial. You know, it doesn't have to be super, super, super corporate.
But be relevant.
But it needs to be relevant to the business. Yeah, for sure. I don't think I would be on there posting pictures of me and my missus, you know, on my days out. But then people do, and it, you know, they get to know the person that you are. So I don't know. There's a fine line, I think. But I wouldn't treat it like you would on a Facebook post. Yeah. I think that's a different thing. That's more personal, and this is more business. But it's okay to show personality, I think.
Great question, Kevin.
I look at it, you know, that's the way that I treat it. You know, LinkedIn for me is so that I can interact with people in my same trade or same sort of industry. And also where I do get business for Go Race, they tend to come through the website and then I direct them back to LinkedIn.
Correct. Yeah.
I do need to get that personal page and the business page sorted out, I believe. So
I'll try and I'll help you with that, Kevin. Just conscious of time. Any other quick questions? No. Thank you, Alex. That has been very valuable. I think just the sheer number of questions we had today, I think, has proved how valuable that was and how we all use LinkedIn. For me personally, I've seen far more engagement on LinkedIn than most platforms recently. Whether it coincided the last couple of years when Microsoft took it over, the platform is evolving. It is a far more professional platform, so it's been great. Thanks for that, and we'll get you back on board at some point as well to follow up with another interview at some point. If anyone's got any questions in the meantime, I'm happy to give you. If Alex, you're happy for me to give people your details.
100%.
Any questions in the meantime? I'm actually in the process of moving house at the moment, so I may not have any internet until next Friday. So what I might do is I'm going to be posting on SocialZesh, but I may just give the live session a miss. I may have to give the live session a miss next week. So I'm going to have a rare day off. But again, I'll still be there. I'll still be accessible. So if you've got any questions, and the daily tips will be out there as well. We've got Glenn coming up with the next interview with the expert, but there'll be some workshops in between that as well. But like I say, thanks for all being here. We have run over a little bit of time today, but that's been great. It's been very valuable. So thanks, Alex. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. That's been
Brilliant,
great.
everyone. Thank you. Great to meet you.
All have a great day. I'll send you Alex details. I'll put it on the Facebook group. Kevin, I'll have a look at. I'll send you some. Well, basically, I'll link that up.
But you know, it's just how you do it. So
yeah, okay. I'll send you some steps on to do that. It's fairly simple. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, take care.
Good day, guys.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.